It's the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia, with your host, Bob Snap.
Hi guys, welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. If you don't mind, please subscribe while you're here. Thank you. Today's video is on something we've talked about a lot in comments, in the comments section here, about how some characters on the Andy Griffith Show have had different last names and different first names, and wonder why that is. Well, let's pick out 10 times that's happened for this video, and let's check it out. Okay, let's start with Floyd. Perhaps the most famous character whose name noticeably changes is Floyd the Barber. Most folks remember Howard McNear's Floyd Lawson. Last name given the character once McNear took over the character after Walter Baldwin portrayed him as simply Floyd the Barber. But in McNear's very first appearance in Mayberry Goes Hollywood, he is randomly called Floyd Colby. After that, he was called Floyd Lawson every time. Dean Doug and Mitch Darlin. Dillards famously portrayed the Darlins on the Andy Griffith Show, and for the most part, the band members used their own first names as their character names. Rodney Dillard was Rodney Darlin, Doug was Doug, Dean was Dean, and Mitch was Mitch. But in the band's first appearance, in The Darlins Are Coming, Doug was called Jebin Darlin, and Dean was called Other, while Mitch was called Brother Darlin, and Mitch Brother, before he became known as Mitch Darlin. Miss Claire Edwards, this is one they talk about the most. A gossip and one of Aunt Bee's besties, Claire Edwards is actually first introduced as Bertha Edwards in Andy and Opie the Housekeeper, in Housekeepers. And in Barney's replacement, she became Clara Johnson, which stuck for a while, until the church organ episode, and that's when she became Claire Edwards, a name she took on for the rest of the series. Bobby Fleet and his Band with the Beat. Great ring to it, which is probably why the character was featured in 3 episodes. However, in addition to changing the actor playing Bobby Fleet from Henry Slate and the guitar player to Herb Ellis and the guitar player returns, to Joseph Sorolla in the Mayberry Band, they also called the character Freddie Fleet on his last appearance. Freddie Fleet and his Band with the Beat. Sounds almost just as good. Mr. Johnny Paul Jason. Everybody loves seeing Richard Keith, who played Little Ricky on I Love Lucy, suddenly appear in Mayberry. It's one of Opie's best friends, Johnny Paul Jason. But few probably remember that the first time he appeared, in the episode One Punch Opie, he was called Carter French when Andy lectured the boys. The rest of the time on the show, though, he'd go by JPJ. Howie Pruitt. Another one of Opie's pals was Howie Pruitt. It was a good kid who occasionally gave Helen Crump a hard time. Across all Howie's appearances, he's known as Howie Pruitt, son to Mrs. Pruitt, except for his second to last guest spot for Barney Fife Realtor. Howie's dad is identified as Mr. Williams, making him Howie Williams, not Pruitt, for just one episode. Sharon Porter, or Sharon McCall. Apart from Opie's crush on Helen, the boy's love for a girl named Sharon Porter is one of the biggest romances. She shows up in 4 episodes, but in the first 2, Opie loves Helen. In The Education of Ernest T. Bass, she's called Sharon McCall. Later in Opie's Job and Look Paul, I'm Dancing, the same girl is called Sharon Porter. Miss Emma Brand had a reputation in Mayberry as a busybody and hypochondriac. But Barney Fife would tell you her biggest offense is her jaywalking. Although the character is billed as Emma Brand in every appearance but one, Barney keeps a file on Emma's pedestrian foul play called the Emma Watson case. And in the actor's final appearance in The Manicurist, she is called Emma Watson, not Brand. Asa Breeny. Mayberry got jack of all trades in Asa Breeny, who pops up in several odd jobs through the series run. Portrayed by Charles Thompson, the character is called Asa Breeny in 4 or 5 episodes. But in his second to last appearance as a character, the same actor would later appear as Doc Roberts. He was also called by a different last name. In Barney's physical, Thompson is credited as Asa Bascom. The Reverend. Heading Mayberry's church is the Reverend known as Reverend Hobart M. Tucker in the first 3 episodes he's in. And randomly, the Reverend's name switched in Opie's newspaper and the church organ to Reverend Martin. The writers must have thrown in the towel at that point because for his final appearance in the Church Benefactors, the character is simply referred to as Reverend. There you go. I always thought that was an interesting thing, but I don't know why they did it, or even if they cared, really, to be honest with you. Apparently, I don't think they cared. Either they didn't care or this was a way of messing with the audience. And they did a good job because, hey, 60-some years later, we're still talking about it. So, please don't forget about classic rock and country music facts and trivia. Head on over there. Please subscribe if you would. Have a great day. God bless you, and I'll be praying for you.